Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I am also a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to go over things that you should probably not do for a woman. Likely, probably not ever, but it does depend on your situation and your relationship. But the reason why I bring this up is because I see these dynamics happen in relationships, and I think it can be detrimental to the growth of the relationship. And it puts people in positions that they might actually end up possibly being hurt later, which is what we want to avoid. We don't want anybody to get hurt, at least definitely not to the point where it's traumatic or intentional, but as less hurt as possible for relationships is the goal, right? That's not what we want. And so that's kind of where this video is aiming towards. And the very first one, and I do understand a lot of people might not like me saying this, but it's true. The first thing that I believe you should probably not really ever do for a woman, especially in the beginning. Most of this is if you haven't been together for very long, because there are moments in your relationship where you may have to do these things. So just keep that in mind. It's making all the decisions for her, actually. And this creates a sense of responsibility for you to always have to be there for her, but it also puts you in a not so good position in another way where you're in a position to accept blame for these things. What if you make a decision for her that's not the best decision and she blames you for it? I'm not saying she would, but there's no reason to put yourself in that position. Plus, what ends up happening is you are putting her in a position where she's not able to make those decisions. And she should be making those decisions in order for her to be mentally healthy. What happens if you guys are married for years and years and years and you end up being in a position where you can't make decisions anymore? Maybe for cognitive decline or because of some other reasons, mental health, and she doesn't know how to make decisions either. The relationship in of itself could struggle just because of that. And so these things that we're talking about are not just to pick on anybody. It's also to secure the relationship's future, okay? So you don't want to make decisions, all decisions for her, okay? That's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for her, okay? Similarly, the next one is you try to save her from her own mistakes or decisions. You can be there to listen, but you don't want it to be where you're always picking up after her and not letting her take accountability or her not taking accountability and putting that on you. Again, this creates a dynamic to where you're always at fault for something that she could be doing, and it puts you in a position of possibly being strained. You might feel resentful because it's too much. And you might also feel like she's not holding her weight in the relationship emotionally, and you could get burned out, which could ultimately dissolve the relationship, okay? The next one is you accept disrespect to keep the peace. Sadly, as a couples therapist, but I see with couples as well, this is kind of common, where I see a partner openly disrespecting her husband right in front of me, and he is letting it happen because he's accepting. He doesn't want to fight with her. He doesn't want to get her mad. He wants to keep the peace in the relationship because he feels like she won't fight for the peace. He might as well fight for the peace. And this can be very challenging for a man to put himself in this situation, because what ends up happening is he starts silencing his own voice, and he might even subconsciously believe that this is how a husband or a man should be treated by a woman. So now he's feeling less likely to want to even stay with this person, and the relationship is becoming more and more distant because he's accepting disrespect, okay? The next one is similar. He hides his true feelings to avoid upsetting her, right? You hide your own feelings to avoid upsetting this woman, your partner, whoever she is. But why is this bad? Because I know it comes from a good place. I'm not saying you're doing it to hurt her. You're probably trying to make her happy. It comes from a good place. But what happens is, first of all, you're silencing your feelings. Second, when she finds out your true feelings, she's going to be very betrayed and hurt. And third, among other things, now the relationship is more about pleasing her. It's not equal. And that can be it can cause a lot of issues for the relationship in the long run, but it also creates a gap between your actual emotional intimacy. And so by doing this, you're actually disrupting what you plan on trying to heal. You're trying to avoid upsetting her so that you guys can stay married or together, right? But at the same time, you're creating gaps to which in the future you guys might end up breaking up for this very reason. So please keep that in mind, okay? I'm not picking on you. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying you should really not ever do this for somebody because your feelings matter too. The next one, and I see this so much, and I know someone's going to get mad at me or going to get triggered about this, but I'm serious. I personally don't feel like you should really ever do this. especially a woman you just met or a woman who didn't really show you that she respects or is grateful for this. It's when you finance everything, or you might feel pressured to provide above your means. It's very important to recognize that this is unfair. And if you're financing everything, that's fine. If that's how you want the relationship to be, I respect that, okay? But if it's going above your means and you feel uncomfortable, or you don't want to finance everything, but maybe you feel like you'll lose her if you don't, you're hurting yourself. You're also depleting your own financial assets, right? And if this woman is somebody who you just met and you're giving her money all the time, how do you know that she actually cares about you? You won't know. And you deserve unconditional love. You don't deserve love that's only happening because you are able to pay for something for her. That's not fair. I understand if you want to help out, but it's also important. Does she want to help you too? I understand if there's a little bit of gender roles in there, and I can respect that. If you don't want a woman to help you out, more power to you. I respect that. But if you would be okay with every now and again that she helps you out, does she? Because that's important to understand. Does she care about you? Because if a woman cares about you, she will do anything to help you. I've seen it before. I've seen women help out men who don't even treat them well. And so why should, if she is that type of person where she's done things for another man, what's the reason that she won't do that for you? Why are you the one financially providing everything? And I get that that's triggering. Of course, there's so many layers to every side. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. But if it applies to you a little bit, maybe think about it, okay? The next one is that you ignore your friends, family, and your support system to focus solely on her. Maintaining your own connections is important, okay? You're not only creating a sense of codependency for both of you guys, but you're also making it a point where your own feelings and your own values are suddenly not as important. Because what I see a lot with men, I see where a lot of you guys might connect and support her because you feel like if you don't, she's going to leave you or she's going to find somebody else, or you almost feel like your sense of self-worth is attached to how she perceives you. I understand that you feel like that, but please don't put yourself in this type of position, because what can happen is, what if she wants to break up with you? Now, all your connections are not there as much and you have to re-maintain them, and you're in a way worse position than you were. It's a lot harder when you're scrambling to get back up and get on your feet, right? Be a lot easier if somebody can give you a hand. The next one is you compromise your values or ethics to please her, okay? You are changing yourself for her, basically, and not in a way where you want to save the relationship. That's okay. Everybody should do that a little bit. But it's almost like you're doing it because you think she's not going to like you, or she's going to reject you, or she's going to leave you, or she's going to make fun of you. And those things create you staying in this trapped version of yourself that you don't even like. It's not healthy, okay? The next one is you put her needs above you all the time. You might put her needs above yours temporarily, just until she builds trust. I know that happens, okay? It happens on the flip side too, but it shouldn't happen so consistently that you don't even know what your needs are. You don't care about your needs. That's not what it should be like. I understand imbalances happen in relationships. I'm not blind to that. However, you don't want it to be to the point where you actually deny your own needs. Ever want it to be that her needs are always ahead of yours and you have nothing and she's not making any change, right? I've even seen this, and it's sad to even say out loud, but I've seen it where guys are like, oh yeah, like where it's like, oh, she actually loves me, but she's just doing this thing with this other guy, or she wants to try it with somebody else and you're still sitting on the sideline until like when she comes crying back to you after this guy mistreated her. I see that a lot, and what you're doing is you're putting her needs above your own, right? Because that's not even a relationship at this point. But I'm just saying in general, your needs matter too. Always remember that. And the very last one is you actually lose your own identity and values while being in this relationship. You have forgotten who you are. And that, unfortunately, is common, and I don't want to see anybody doing that, because you are a valuable and special person as well. And that's basically what I want you guys to get out of this. If you're doing some of these things, it's okay. It's all right. You don't need to beat yourself up. You don't even need to change right away. But just being aware that you have a voice, and it doesn't mean break up with her. That's not what I'm saying either. Maybe just try and see what areas can she give a little bit to me. Where can I make adjustment? Or maybe where I can protect myself in certain areas, where I can communicate a different way, just so you guys can have a little bit more of a balanced relationship, okay? I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.